I've got a hit here on dishwasher. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. And for those of you that are new, my name is Luke, okay? And today we're gonna be going over the KT303P. It's a circuit breaker finder by KAIWEETS, who actually sponsored this video and sent the unit over. If you're not familiar with KAIWEETS, they make a bunch of different products for electrical testing and working with electrical. So whether you're a DIYer, a homeowner, or working the trades, please go check out some of the links below. We're also going to be doing a comparison with its big brother, the KT301P. We'll be looking at some of the differences. So if you're kind of on the fence about which one to get, we'll help you go ahead and make that decision. And also stick around to the end of the video, because if you're in the market for a circuit breaker finder, we've got a big surprise for you at the end. Let's go ahead and look at a good use case for a circuit breaker finder. One of the projects that I want to get done is clearly getting my electrical panel labeled. All the circuits you can do this with are live. So we'll go ahead and get started. So using your KAIWEETS circuit breaker finder is actually really straightforward. You have a transmitter, which is passive, and you can go ahead and plug it into any live circuit. And you're gonna check these indicator lights to make sure that your wiring is correct. If your wiring is not correct, you're gonna wanna go ahead and call a qualified electrician to correct the wiring before you move on. The tool won't work correctly if your wiring is not correct. Now we're gonna use the receiver at the electrical panel to verify what circuit this is on. It's really easy to use. You just go ahead and hold down the power button and it's ready to learn your panel. Remember to run it across your panel once for it to learn the noise on your panel, and then again to locate your actual circuit. I've got a hit here on dishwasher and garage. It's one of those two. Now I have a good feeling it's not going to be dishwasher, but I have a really good feeling it's going to be garage. Because even though that outlet is down in the basement, it needs to be on a GFCI circuit. That circuit is on garage. Now let's go ahead and 100% confirm it. We'll switch off just the garage circuit. We'll go down there and verify that the lights have been turned off on the transmitter. The room lights are still on, but the lights to the transmitter are now off. And that's because this specific outlet is tied into the garage circuit. And I want to talk about why this could easily become a problem. This outlet is responsible only for feeding my sump pump. At some point, this pump could develop an internal short and could start tripping the breaker for the circuit that it's on. Now, with my breaker panel labeled the way it is currently, I would keep getting a garage breaker fault. You encounter a problem like this, you're going to spend a lot of time in the garage before you think, oh, there must be another outlet that's tied into this. If you have everything pre-labeled and know exactly which outlet feeds which breaker for someone to come and service your house, that's going to make their life a lot easier. Just something really quick that I wanted to go over, because I like to know how my tools are working. And for me, this was really a treat trying to understand better how this works. Because if you're familiar with AC power at all, you understand that it's really noisy. And trying to do circuit tracing on live noisy lines is incredibly difficult. I'm going to pull up here on the monitor. You're going to see exactly what this little guy is doing. And it's putting little pulses of current into your AC lines. If you have loose wiring, intermittent faults, or what I'm going to demonstrate is low voltage, I want to show you what it looks like when you have poor terminations, when you have poor voltage, what it's going to do to the signal for this little guy. And we can take a look on the scope and look at our current along with our voltage, and watch as it doesn't take much of a voltage drop to drop that signal down. Let's bring it down. I believe the floor that they set for this device is no less than 90 volts. Because you can see at 90 volts, our signal's diminished to 3.7 amps. And with all of the electrical noise going on in your entire panel, you're gonna have a really hard time tracing circuits. I just thought that was really cool and really fun. I wanted to share that with all you. So let's go ahead and hop into the comparison. And we're gonna start with what is the same. Both products come with a case, and they both come with this set of accessories. This one here is for non-terminated transceiver, can plug into, and then you can just go ahead and clamp onto your hot and neutral. very carefully. This here is an adapter. If there's no ground port in the outlet that you're trying to trace out, this one is a ground delete. This one is for light receptacles. Your ground delete would go into here, and then your transceiver would go into here, and then you can just go ahead and screw this into a light socket for also helping you trace not just your outlets, but your lighting as well, since that should be on a separate circuit. They also both come with a transmitter and a receiver, and you can see that the design is a little bit different. So with the KT301 on its transmitter, it has an additional screen that will live display voltage as well as give you your faults. Both receivers come with a display screen. They both have non-contact voltage and a flashlight, as well as a reset setting. Every time you scan the panel, you'll want to hit the reset button to refresh the learn function for your receiver. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons. I'd say the KT301P is great for its additional troubleshooting ability with the live voltage readout, something that you're missing on the newer model. However, I think this comes with drawbacks as well, because the issue with a transceiver like this is that it's going to have its own extra set of batteries. And with that, you're likely going to put this into an outlet, you're gonna go to your panel and scan it, and then you're probably gonna get distracted with labeling or some other task, leaving this guy to sit in the wall and to drain its internal batteries. That's where the newer model really focuses in with just passive transmitter. It still has your GFCI tester, and then the indicator lights on here, I did do some testing on the bench, and they will just about dull and go out around 80 volts. So if for whatever reason you have a very large amount of voltage drop across your circuit, these lights should be very dim if lit at all. Something that I do really like about the new model as well, when I talk about the focus of the device, it also comes with some actual labeling for you. Your panel is probably already labeled or has a bunch of scribble marks on it. You can take these sticky back numbers, put them next to your breaker, and then you can create your own master list. Either way, I think they're both great tools. On the update, I do like the passive transmitter. Overall, I think it was a really good move. All right, so now that we've taken a look at the differences between the two units, I wanted to go over just some quick feedback on this unit and the direction that it's headed in. It's a lot more focused as a circuit breaker finder and less as a troubleshooting tool. But something that I do think that falls in the same vein and focus for a circuit breaker finder would be having an option for it to help you locate circuits that are no longer live, dead circuits, okay? Because of the way that it's engineered and designed, it needs a live circuit to function, which I think the way that they did achieve this is really clever and really cool. But to also be able to have a mode that someone could use where the circuits are dead and they could still trace out the panel to do labeling, I think would fully unlock the potential of a circuit breaker finder tool. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. The big surprise is that KAIWEETS wants to send out 2 units absolutely free to some of our audience members. How to enter is really simple. You just put a comment down below in the video. After 2 weeks of the release of the video, I'll select 2 commenters. I'll reach out to you to get your information. Don't put it in the comment section. I'll reach out to you personally to get your information to give over to KAIWEETS to send you a free unit. The rules will all be listed in a link down below, but just some of the basics are you must be over 18 to enter. You have to live in the US or Canada. And most importantly, there's no purchase necessary to enter. Again, you just throw a comment down in the comment section of the video. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe and check out some of my other stuff. I have a bunch more KAIWEETS videos and tutorials on how to use their gear, and I'll catch you on the next one.